Hello and greetings. This video is a Game Master's Guide of Episode 1 of the Traveler Campaign, Secrets of the Ancients. This video is the second video in a series of 11 videos. I would recommend watching the first video before this one. In the Traveler RPG system, the Game Master is called the Referee. However, I will refer to them as the Game Master or as the GM instead. As discussed in the first video of this series, one of the player characters, referred to as the Inheritor, must be related to or friendly with a wandering traveler and drifter named Vlen Beckett. I would suggest the Game Master should weave Uncle Vlen into the backstories of all the travelers. In any case, at the start of the adventure, news of Uncle Vlen's demise reaches the travelers. The message was sent high priority and is electronically stamped with the seal of the Duchy of Regina. The travelers must now travel to Regina to collect his body and his personal belongings, and bring them back to his homeworld of Alel. Uncle Vlen has deposited a considerable sum of money to cover the expenses of these tasks. Just as FYI, in most traveler settings, including the Third Imperium setting, there are no methods of faster-than-light communication. Messages are sent by carriers or on the X-Boat network in mail drums, which are high-density computer memory cores. They are carried from one system to the next and then transmitted by conventional radio or laser comms. Messages therefore propagate out from the origin at the speed of the courier, usually jump 4. Travelers may pick up their messages at a starport or send their ship identity code to the local communications relay and download any stored messages.
Hello, and welcome to the RPGmodsFan spaceship. I am a programmable enhanced android and computerized humanoid. You can call me Peaches for short. On behalf of RPGmodsFan, I will be discussing most of the spoilers walkthrough section of this video. I will now be discussing the adventure and campaign itself, and this video will contain spoilers, unless you are a game master who will be running this adventure and campaign for your players, or are a player who already played through this adventure and campaign and are watching this video for nostalgia purposes. I would suggest not to watch the rest of this video. Bodysnatchers is the first adventure of the Secrets of the Ancients campaign. A synopsis of the adventure would be as follows. The travelers travel to Regina to collect Uncle Beckett's body. They learn crime lord Ven Yasha is responsible for his death, and the travelers infiltrate his secret headquarters. I would summarize the Bodysnatchers adventure as follows. The travelers receive word that Uncle Beckett is dead and are requested to come to Regina to collect his body and his personal effects. On arrival at the high port, they are interviewed by the authorities and learn that Uncle Beckett died under suspicious circumstances. From there, they travel down to Credo, where they obtain several leads about Uncle Beckett's death. These bring them to Professor Eugenia of the University of Regina. They meet Professor Eugenia, an expert on the ancients. She describes an experimental technique for detecting ancient sites, one that Uncle Beckett was very interested in funding. While the travelers are meeting with the professor, they are attacked by assassins. These assassins leave a vital clue that the crime lord Ven Yasha was responsible for Uncle Beckett's murder. Ven Yasha is a mysterious and elusive figure, but his second-in-command, Harlan, was the one who actually murdered Uncle Beckett, and the travelers set out to track him down. The travelers enter the criminal underworld of Regina and find their way to Harlan's secret lair, where they must defeat his criminal goons in order to recover Uncle Beckett's stolen possessions. I will now discuss the adventure's main cast of characters that the travelers will interact with. Inspector Palad Norim is the chief representative of the Public Order Commission at Regina Highport. He is a portly fellow who has spent many years in slightly lower gravity space stations. Privately, he thinks of himself as a beekeeper. The Offworlders swarm around him, buzzing and flitting back and forth in what seems like chaos, but really, they are following very simple rules as they search for what they need and defend against threats to their hives. He has dealt with tens of thousands of cases over his long career. However, Vlen Baket's murder case is more of a wasp problem instead of a bee problem. He speaks clearly and enunciates every word, but speaks vaguely, without saying much. Instead, he is always listening and gathering information without giving much information. The Public Order Commission, or POC for short, can be thought of as the militarized police of the Third Imperium in a far future, dystopian sci-fi setting. Sounds like our modern world of today. Detective Odoy is another Public Order Commission officer. 4 years, Detective Odoy has been on the trail of a semi-mythical criminal named Ven Yasha. He is convinced that Ven Yasha is behind hundreds of unexplained crimes and murders on Regina. Detective Odoy is unstable, jittery, nervous, and paranoid. To the POC, his delusions has become worse, and, currently, they have placed him on medical leave, pending psychological assessment. Detective Odoy suspected Vlen Baket of being part of Ven Yasha's organization and believes he was murdered under Ven Yasha's orders. Detective Odoy will stalk the travelers until he gets a chance to talk to them. As a suggestion, if the travelers go off the rails early in this adventure, then Detective Odoy can be used to get the adventure's plot back on track. Imperial intelligence agents Harjid Voss and Steylan work for Gant Holses. Their orders are to observe the travelers, and they have been following the travelers since they arrived on Regina. The two agents are to be used to make the players increasingly paranoid as the game goes on, and to foreshadow the involvement of Gant Holses in the next few missions. During the adventure, they will attempt the following. 1. Break into the travelers' accommodation and plant listening devices. 2. Access the travelers' computer files and tap their communications. 3. Follow the travelers around and question people they meet. During this adventure, they are not supposed to be captured and interrogated by the travelers. If such a situation becomes possible, they will fall back and, if need be, alert the public order troops and have the area closed down. The elderly Professor Yaros Ujinka is in charge of the archaeology department at the University of Regina. In this adventure, the travelers are supposed to visit her at her house and learn that communications in the G-band can be used to detect ancient sites. They are also supposed to learn that her assistant, Dr. Juni Volsang, is on Beck's world and has a working prototype of such a detection device. For inquisitive travelers, Professor Ujinka has a wealth of knowledge about the ancients that is not far from the truth. During the course of this adventure, she is supposed to be assassinated right in front of the travelers once she has divulged enough information to the travelers to get them on the right track of where to go and what to do next. I have already discussed Professor Ujinka in detail in the first video of this series. I would suggest re-watching that video for such details. Harlan was second in command of Ven Yasha's criminal organization on Regina. Ven Yasha / Vlen Baket arranged his own murder at the hands of Harlan at a hostel in Credo City. From the Uncle Baket's hostel room, Harlan has taken a statuette and a data tape. Harlan was a former scientist at Caldi Research who was recruited because of his expertise in telecommunications. Harlan suspects that Ven Yasha is in contact with higher powers, either the Ancients or another super-advanced alien race. The red-haired Harlan is a cold individual bordering on sociopathy. He relates poorly to other human beings, preferring the company of machines. Hey, what is the matter with machines? Technically, I am a machine, too. Harlan sends 2 assassins, named Gaius Laber and Mort Kinsun, to kill Professor Ujinka. They are both burly, intimidating bruisers with augmented physiques. These same two thugs served as guards at the door outside of Len Baket's hostel room during the night of his murder. They have never, knowingly, seen Ven Yasha in person. They get in contact with Harlan through an intermediary, Alel Wiley, named Exceedingly Discreet. Canonically, Gaius Laber is supposed to be captured by the Imperial intelligence agents, leaving Mort Kinsun to be captured and interrogated by the Travelers. Later, in Episode 8 of the campaign, the Travelers will again meet Gaius Laber on board a large prison ship. Exceeding Discreet is Alel Wiley. Alel Wiley looks like an oversized giant dandelion. In known space, they are often nicknamed and referred to as dandelions. Exceeding Discreet operates a brokerage business in Startone on Regina. It is called Winter Shipping. Although it takes advantage of down on their luck merchants and traders, Winter Shipping is a legitimate business and is owned by Harlan. Exceeding Discreet considers Harlan to be short-sighted and a poor tactician. I will now go through the adventure's timeline of events. My apologies in advance. I will be repeating some things I have already mentioned before. The Travelers receive a message notifying them of Len Baket's demise. The message informs them that Uncle Baket died at Credo City on the planet of Regina. The message asks the characters to travel to Regina and settle Uncle Baket's outstanding affairs. Uncle Baket has deposited a sum of money to cover expenses. The journey to Regina is uneventful, unless the GM wishes to throw in a side encounter en route. Regina is a moon of the gas giant Assiniboia. As they approach Regina, they see hundreds of ships. Most of them are small traders and freighters. But a convoy of mega freighters can be seen, and off to the distance, a flotilla of Imperial warships can also be seen. The Traveler's ship is given priority clearance to land. Seems like Uncle Baket was known in high places and was more than just a drifter. Upon disembarking, the Travelers are met by Highport security guards who bear the Imperial Starburst on their armor. They are asked to wait at the docking berth for a representative of the Public Order Commission, or POC for short. A few minutes later, 4 agents of the POC arrive, led by Inspector Pallad Norim. He then requests the Travelers to accompany him to the Regina Territorial Zone attached to the station, where they can discuss the matter of Len Baket. The Travelers and the Inspector board a small shuttle and travel to an orbiting space station where the offices of the POC are housed. Inspector Norim informs the Travelers of Uncle Baket's murder in what appears to be some drug deal that went wrong. At the murder scene, traces of an illegal narcotic were found in Uncle Baket's blood, clothes, and luggage. The inspector suspects Uncle Baket was a drug smuggler. He tells them that the Travelers can collect Uncle Baket's corpse and belongings from the Credo Public Order Office on Planetside. There is a travel bond in Len Baket's name for the sum of 100,000 credits, which more than enough to bring the body home. From this point forward, the Travelers will be watched by agents of the Imperial Intelligence. These spies are working for Gand Holses. For more info on Gand, I would suggest watching the first video of this series. The characters then travel to Credo City, and after dealing with much bureaucracy, they then go to the morgue of the Public Order Office. Upon seeing Uncle Baket's corpse, it is clear that he was shot in the heart. As an aside, Uncle Baket has tech-level 20 cybernetic implants that are virtually undetectable even by high-tech labs of the Imperium. These implants are active and protecting his brain. Uncle Baket's possessions at the time of death amount to the following: sundry clothing and toiletries, 13,400 credits, a Travelers' Aid Society membership card, used tickets for middle passage on board the Great Eastern Travel Liner from Rylana to Regina, and a personal comm. The Travelers' Aid Society operates several hostels, ranging from mildewed hellholes to luxurious clubs. The one Uncle Baket was staying at, in Credo City, is one of those shabby ones. The hostel staff, which are few, have already been interviewed by the POC. Basically, the only information they provide is that, on the day of the murder, Uncle Baket was visited by 3 people who had forged identities. Two of them were obviously big thugs, the other was a red-haired, short man. After a 2-hour visit, the three then left in a hurry, but one of them reported a spillage in Uncle Baquette's room. A scent-cleaning robot then discovered Uncle Baquette's body. While the travelers are in the hostel, a message arrives from Professor Eugenia, addressed to Vlen Baquette. The message states that she has returned from Beck's world and now is available to meet him at her home. At some point after leaving the hostel, the travelers will encounter Detective O'Doy, who tells them to meet him at the Flotsam Bar, which is a rundown Spaces bar. During their uneasy conversation at Flotsam Bar, Detective O'Doy informs the travelers about Ven Yasha's criminal organization and that he believes Uncle Baquette was part of the organization and that he believes Uncle Baquette was killed on Ven Yasha's orders. Since taking transportation to Credo City, the travelers may notice that they are being watched and followed. They are being observed by Imperial intelligence agents Harjid Voss and Steylan. Upon first encountering Detective O'Doy, the detective will make the travelers aware that they are being followed. Before visiting Professor Eugenia, the travelers are contacted by Inspector Norim. He informs them that the case has been solved, and that a red-haired, small-time drug smuggler named Jack shot their Uncle Baquette and has been arrested. Actually, Inspector Norim knows that Jack is innocent of the crime. Pinning the Baquette murder on the drug smuggler ends his involvement with the case and with Imperial intelligence. The travelers then visit Professor Yaros Eugenia. The professor is an elderly member of the Archaeology and History faculty at the University of Regina and is an expert on the ancient civilization. Professor Eugenia has a large home in the countryside north of Credo City in a forested region called Dankado. She has recently returned home after being off-world for quite a few years. Travel to Dankado region is restricted, and the travelers will need to take a charmingly old-fashioned ground car there, or by riding on horses or horse-like creatures to get there. There is high chance that the travelers will not notice a POC aircar tailing them in the distance. This aircar is being flown by agents Harjid Voss and Steylan. When the travelers reach the gate of the professor's home, they may notice the presence of armed drones lurking in the trees. Such weapon systems are illegal on Regina without extensive special permits. The travelers will be brought to the lounge of the professor's home, which is on the upper floor, by a robot butler. Over a light food and drink afternoon, the travelers converse with Professor Eugenia. She has not heard the news of Uncle Baquette's murder. She says that Uncle Baquette was interested in finding ancient sites and that he was interested in the professor's work of using G-band communication signals to find such sites. She mentions she has an assistant, named Junie, working in an ancient site on Beck's world. She knows of the criminal Lord Ven Yasha by reputation only. During their conversation, two of Ven Yasha's assassins arrive on a mission to kill the professor. As previously mentioned in the prior video, Vlen Baquette and Ven Yasha are the same person. Uncle Baquette is really an agent for an ancient, named Seven. Uncle Baquette knew the Imperial intelligence was on his trail. To get them off his trail, he arranged his own murder. Now, unfortunately, Professor Eugenia represents a loose end, and he and his master do not want the professor's work to be further developed by the Imperial intelligence on detecting ancient sites. The two assassins are named Gaius Laber and Mort Kinson. These are the two thugs who visited Vlen Baquette's room in the hostel. They are both burly, intimidating bruisers with augmented physiques. They are armed with Gauss pistols and snubbers, but their most dangerous weapon is an ancient device loaned to them by Ven Yasha. This device suppresses electronic devices within a short range, and they are about to use it to bypass the professor's security systems. This device also disables weapons that are above Tech Level 6. Once they cut power to the professor's mana, the travelers will then be able to act. Unless the travelers act quickly, the professor will be shot dead through the lounge window. The assassin's mission is to kill one old lady. If they encounter significant resistance from the travelers, they will attempt to flee. Even if both assassins manage to escape the travelers, Imperial intelligence agents, Harjid Voss and Steylan, are waiting at the assassin's escape car. They will capture Gaius Laber and fly away with him, leaving behind Mort Kinsun. Gaius Laber is being taken away for questioning. From Mort Kinsun, the travelers can learn the following. For 15 years, he has worked as a leg breaker for Venyasa, but has never seen him in person. His contact is Harlan, who is Venyasha's second in command. At the hostel, Harlan and Uncle Baquet seemed to know each other, and they were talking amicably and not arguing. Yet, later on, it was Harlan who shot Uncle Baquet. Harlan stole 2 items from Len Baquet's room, a statuette and a data tape. The assassin does not know where Harlan is based or where the stolen items are. He contacts Harlan through a contact named Exceedingly Discreet, who operates Winter Shipping, a brokerage business, in Startone. He reveals a passphrase that is needed to gain an audience with Exceedingly Discreet. At this point, the Game Master needs to ask the players how they plan to deal with Harlan and Venyasha. Do they take a direct approach? Do they take a stealthy approach? Do they take a deceptive approach? Do they take an investigative approach? Or do they try a devil's bargain? The travelers' next task is to go to Startone, find the Winter Shipping, and talk to Exceedingly Discreet. Along the way, the travelers can hear quite a few rumors. As an aside, every planet with a starport will have a Startone just outside of the starport proper, with a set of dwellings and businesses. Exceedingly Discreet can be a wealth of information, and how much the travelers extract depends on how successful their approach was. Exceedingly Discreet is aware that Imperial intelligence agents are on Regina. The Alahir recently departed the system, and that Gand Holses is the captain of that ship. Exceedingly Discreet believes Len Baquet is a messenger for Venyasha. It knows that Harlan retrieved a statuette and a data tape from Uncle Baquet's hostel room. These items were transported to Venyasha's orbiting station, which is now Harlan's station. Exceedingly Discreet knows the location of Harlan's space station and can provide the means of getting there. As an aside, if the travelers failed in their approach to meet with Exceedingly Discreet and were knocked out by the gas trap, then they wake up aboard a cargo ship that is on its way to Harlan's orbiting station. They are being brought there for interrogation. In high orbit, at a Lagrangian point between the planet and the gas giant, are thousands of empty containers, waiting for day they will be once again used. Hidden amid this maze of containers is Venyasha's, now Harlan's secret space station. From the outside, the station looks like a bunch of linked containers. The space station is primarily used for smuggling operations. However, for the former Len Baquet, this is a front. The station has sophisticated monitoring equipment and is even capable of tapping into coded Imperial transmissions. In addition to Harlan, there are 3 to 8 other crew on board at any time who are mostly smugglers. Everyone on the station are wearing vac suits and carrying sidearms. Other than Harlan, no one is allowed into the container with the extremely high-tech monitoring equipment. How the encounter between the travelers and Harlan goes depends on how they got into the station in the first place. Were they brought to the station as prisoners? Were they brought to the station as guests? Or did the travelers manage to sneak into the station? In all cases, the moment Harlan recognizes the travelers, he activates the station's self-destruct mechanism. The statuette and data tape stolen from Len Baquet's hostel room are on Harlan's desk, in plain view. The statuette is a relic of the ancients. Within the data tapes are clues that the travelers should go to and search the Bugin system for more relics left by the ancients. In case the travelers fail to get the data tapes, there is a backup of it in Len Baquet's lodge, which the travelers visit in the next adventure of the campaign. The travelers are supposed to not know that Uncle Baquet was also Venyasha. They were supposed to serve only as couriers of Uncle Baquet's body back to his homeworld. If the characters are close linking Uncle Baquet's identity to Venyasha, then so is Imperial Intelligence Agent Gand Holses, which is what Harlan fears. Once the station's self-destruct is activated, The travelers will need to escape, fighting on board smugglers along the way. Harlan wants the travelers to escape and will make sure that the escape pod they take is the only one that works. Harlan stays behind. He believes that once Uncle Baquet is resurrected by the Ancient, known as Seven, Uncle Baquet will then turn around and resurrect Harlan. Back on Regina, the travelers are at a dead end. With Harlan's death, they have no more leads in the investigation of Len Baquet's death. They could possibly pursue Professor Eugenica's aide, Junie, on Beck's world, but first they must return Uncle Baquet's corpse to Alel. I will now walk through the adventure's various maps. Displayed on the screen is the map of Professor Eugenica's manor from Mongoose Publishing's first edition of the campaign. Instead of numbers, perhaps it is better to label the rooms, as they are now displayed on the screen. Assuming the travelers are civil and have not barged into the place, they will be taken upstairs to the lounge, where they will meet the professor within a few minutes. Mongoose Publishing updated the map for their second edition of the campaign. The lounge where the travelers will first meet with Professor Eugenica is now circled on the screen. For Mongoose Publishing's first edition of the campaign, no map of Venyash's space station is given by the adventure. It is only described. From the outside, the station looks like 3 shipping containers that are lashed together. From the middle container, Harlan is overseeing the operations of the station. The docking ports, station keeping thrusters, and defense turrets are all concealed. For their second edition of the campaign, Mongoose Publishing did provide a map and art for Venyash's space station. The station is orbiting Regina at a Lagrange point. The world of Regina is located within the Regina subsector of the Spinward Marches. It is the largest trade hub in the sector. Many megafreighters often offload their cargoes at Regina, leaving smaller local traders to carry the goods onto the lesser systems. Displayed on the screen is the 20-sided polyhedral map of Regina that I found on the internet. The Regina star system is a trinary star system. Technically, Regina is a moon, not a planet. It orbits the gas giant, Assiniboia, which itself orbits the locus of the primary star, Lusa, and its companion star, Spec. The third star in the system is the red dwarf, Darida, which is on a long eccentric orbit. Due to both its commercial and strategic importance to the Imperium, Regina has a Class A starport, meaning it has excellent starport facilities. The world has a population of over 732 million. Regina is a tech level 12 world. Regina has a law level of 9, meaning all weapons and armor are banned. For those interested, Regina has a UWP code of A788899-C. Although this adventure does not have any new creatures, per se, the Lelwylili will probably be new to many traveler players and referees. Lelwylili are 2-meter tall, super intelligent creatures, capable of remembering and collating a lot of data and information. They look like an oversized giant dandelion. In known space, they are often nicknamed and referred to as dandelions. Lelwylili have 5 multi-jointed limbs which function as hands and feet interchangeably. Their main sensory organs are also located on the limbs. The spherical central body is covered with long, coarse hair. Respiration occurs across the entire spherical body surface. They originate from Junidi, which has a thin atmosphere, low gravity, and extreme temperature variations. They are often nicknamed as dandelions or dandies. The Bodysnatchers episode gives the Secrets of the Ancients campaign a good start. It is full of mystery for the travelers. Uncle Baquet was not like who he seemed to be. Imperial intelligence agents are acting in the background. Who were the Ancients? The travelers should have a lot of questions. Solving these mysteries should provide the motivation for them to continue the campaign. If you have any ideas on how to make this adventure even better, please share them in the comments below. Next week, I will provide a walkthrough of the next episode, Homecoming. Thank you for watching, from all of us at the RPGmodsFan spaceship. Hope this video has been informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like feedback, and we try to respond to as many comments as we can. Till next time, on behalf of RPGmodsFan, I am Peaches, saying cheers, have a good day, and goodbye.
Daylight is laid to rest beneath all the rubble, and all that runs through my flesh is a spirit of trouble. Under moonlit sky, I'm desperate to feel more alive, alive. Dreams that keep me wide awake, call me up out of the suffocated by sorrow. My bones start to disconnect. My soul becomes hollow.